Hey everyone, it's Candace again, back from my weekly update. Um, I'm very tired. Uh, I've had a few days off. I've had like 5 nights off. I go back into work on Thursday night, and I'll work next 3 nights, so Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I tried to um keep myself awake a little bit during the day, kind of sort of flop back to day shift for very limited amount of time. I was able to run a few errands, like go pick up prescriptions and groceries, and I also went to like a little farmer's market that was here, which was really cool actually. Um, but I think my body is trying to like readjust or reacclimate. I don't know. I've been very I've been very very tired today. I think I've fallen asleep twice already. I got up at about maybe around 4, almost 4. Um of course I called Keith and then I fell asleep on the phone with him. I probably slept for a couple hours. Then I was awake, ate some food, and then I ended up falling asleep again. So I think my body is just it's struggling to say the least. But other than that, it's doing all right. I have been still trying to get used to this hospital. Um so I guess the last time I talked to you guys, I had just gotten to be like on my own. So I've been on my own for a whole week now. I've had 3 full shifts by my, well, I guess 5 full shifts by myself, but I guess a full week by myself. And that last week I worked Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday night. So on Tuesday and Wednesday night, I was actually in the antipart. I'm sorry, there's like hair on my face or something. Sorry. Um anyway, for Tuesday and Wednesday night, I was on the antepartum side again, which like I said it's fine. It's just like I said, not postpartum. Postpartum's my home. And then Friday night I was on postpartum, which that was a very very long night actually. I was kind of like, wow, on antepartum I was, doing all right, getting out on time, and I don't think I left work until I want to say it was close to 9 maybe that morning that I left. So I was very tired that night, and it was just busy. Started out really busy from like the start of the shift all the way up until the middle, and a lot of it was because I was still trying to get used to the different policies and the way they do things there at that hospital. So there were several times where I had to stop and ask, and like, how do we do this? How do I check, this is going on? And like for example, one of my babies, two of my babies actually, um, were one was Kuma's positive or DAT positive, which basically that's one of the tests we do for jaundice, which is that yellowing to the skin and the eyes that you can see. It's caused from liver. It's unable to get rid of toxins as efficiently in newborns, which is why you see them get jaundice a lot, or you hear that babies get jaundice. It's caused from a buildup of bilirubin, which bilirubin is pretty much just old blood that's in the body. And we normally pass out this bilirubin through our stool, which gives the stool the dark color. Um, so, newborns, a lot of times their livers are still immature, so they just struggle with getting rid of all that old blood or that bilirubin. Um, they struggle with it a lot more. So, one of my babies was DAT positive, which basically means they're just more susceptible to getting jaundice. So I had to do what we call a bilirubin blood test, which basically it's a little vial about this big. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but you have to poke this baby's heel and poke it with one of it's very similar to like when you're getting your blood sugar tested, I guess. But it's a little poker that we poke the heel with, and we get little bitty drops of blood, drop, 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 drop at a time. So it takes can take a hot minute, especially if that baby doesn't bleed very well. So I ended up having to do that on one of my babies because they were DAT positive, and then another one of my babies, I initially did a billimeter test on the skin. So basically, it's like a little light that shines, and the light reflects how yellow that part of the skin is. So it lets us know the bilirubin level. Now that level that I tested, it wasn't like abnormally high. Like usually we put it in a system or a graph, and it lets us know where this baby falls. Like if they're on the higher side, they usually want to say double check it with a blood test to see if we need to go under phototherapy or light therapy, which is our treatment for jaundice. So it's hospitals I've been to before. We use something called billytool.org, which is basically you put the baby's birthday, so the date and time that they were born, how many weeks they were, so what gestation, whether it be 36, 37, 38, whatever weeks, and the level that we got, either the skin test or the blood test as well. Let them know if the baby was DAT positive or not, and then it lets you know what your next steps would be. So if let's say the level was fine, it'll just say we're this much below the light therapy level, so follow up in 1 to 3 days with pediatrician. If it was on the higher side and you did the skin test, it would be like, okay, your next step should be confirmed with the blood test, and then depending on that, you'll know your next steps. So I did that, and my baby she was fine. It said follow up in 1 to 2 days, but every hospital is a little bit different, especially with different pediatricians. If it gets to a certain level, they want to have you do a blood test just to make sure, because usually the blood test it's going to be more accurate than the skin test, but we don't want to have to poke and get blood from the baby if we don't have to. Because sometimes it can take a little bit of time. I personally, and it's just me, I don't like really trying to squeeze on their foot like a whole lot if I can help it. I will of course squeeze a little bit to get the blood out, but just constant like pressure and squeezing that is just going to be more painful for them, and I try not to cause them more pain if I don't have to. So anyway, I ended up needing to get blood on this baby. I felt so bad. Thankfully, these parents were absolutely amazing. I had actually great patience that whole night. Everybody was so lovely, so much. I loved everybody. But they were really cool. But I had to poke that baby like 3 times. I felt so bad. So bad. So that makes for a long night. And also just, oh man, there was just a lot going on, and I had like, my rooms were very, very far apart. Usually they'll try to keep your patient rooms together so you're not having to, constantly walk back and forth. Well, the rooms I had were like one side of the unit and then all the way on the other side. So I was definitely getting my steps in that night. A lot. So I was going back and forth all night, and it was just long. So I don't know if I'm still trying to recover from that. But I think trying to flip flop just really, it just messes me up. It just really makes me exhausted. But I anxious to see how it goes for my next 3 shifts that'll work and if I will be on antepartum again. And like I said, sometimes it's just sad too at times. Like I say, most of the time you get postpartum is a happier field. You're not getting a whole lot of the sadness that nursing can bring, but that doesn't mean you're never gonna see it. And I think that was one of the biggest reasons why it was just not in it for me to do any type of labor or just so many things can go wrong, and it's just very hard to see, those moms who are there and they've tried so hard to get pregnant and get this sweet little baby, and then it just doesn't work out, whether that be I don't want to make this sad, but I'm just being real with you guys. There's stillborns and miscarriages and babies who are just born way too early, complications during the pregnancy, and that baby was too young to survive on the outside. So you have mom struggling with that, and it's just heartbreaking. And then you have moms come in and this is their 5th or 6th kid, and they're on drugs and they didn't get prenatal care, they don't take care of their body. And I'm just gonna say, people can get offended or whatever. I really don't care. I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but some people just shouldn't be parents, in my opinion. Like that, it's just so hard to see those babies born like addicted to those types of drugs, and just seeing that type of situation. And this mom has had 5-6 kids, and then having the moms who have struggled for so long to just have one. It's just really, it's very sad, it's very frustrating. It's definite hard thing to see. That being said, like I said, there's also the happiness of it too. It's to me personally, I think it's amazing to see babies come into the world. Like I really think that is just, oh man, it's such a sight to see. Like, I know that's weird to say, but it is just seeing that baby take that first breath of life, and seeing just the joy and the happiness on those parents' faces. It's a very special moment. And like I said in my last video, I am a Christian, so it's just, I think it's another way for me to see kind of God at work, and just the miracle of life and birth. And I think that kind of plays into my nursing as well, and I hope it does, as me as a person too. Sorry, my voice just cracked. But just being able to go out there and take care of people and hopefully give them comfort and make them laugh, and sometimes the very stressful time of their lives. I hope I'm doing the right thing every single day that I'm here, here on this earth. And in my free time, on my days off, I have been of course, the normal things like cooking, cleaning, eating, all of that. But I've also gotten into watching this online, well, they have like an actual church, but it's actually here in Georgia, but it's in Atlanta, and I am not in Atlanta, so that's a bit of a drive for me. So, but it's called 2819. This church is, and they do online sermons. Like they record their sermons every Sunday, and they put them on YouTube that I've been watching, and it's really, really just I really enjoyed it, and it's kind of given me this new burst of faith and purpose, and kind of has opened my eyes a little bit about just what I'm meant to do in my life. It's really, it's very different. I will say it's very that the pastor on there a lot of times says there's a lot of churches nowadays that will, they try to sugarcoat the Bible, and it try to, give a false sense of security and cushiness, he says. So he's very, straight to the point. Like, this is what the scripture says. This is what, is happening in the world, and how as Christians we gotta, fight, and we gotta strive to get as many people as possible to salvation. And I know I'm it's got kind of religious-y, but I just feel like I need to say it. I think this world is just, there's so much evil in this world right now. There's so much hate and crime, and just so much sadness, all the way around the world. And I think that the more I can do to help bring happiness and love and joy, and just hopefully in my actions and words and my life, I show people the correct path to to Christianity, to Jesus. It just I hope I can be that to somebody. And I'm not saying I'm nowhere near perfect, okay? I am still, there's so much for me to learn. There's so much for me to, reflect on myself and my life and what I'm doing. So much for me to, grapple with and grasp, and I'm nowhere near perfect, but I'm trying my hardest every single day. And I just really hope that anybody watching this, friends, family, anybody I don't know who've decided to, get on this roller coaster with me, I thank you for coming and watching me, supporting me, and I love you guys, and I really hope this helps you, inspires you, puts a smile on your face. But that was just something I felt like I needed to say, needed to be done. So that may happen again. Who knows? On my next video, just be prepared. If you don't want to hear stuff like that, I mean, you're welcome to not watch it. You're welcome to skip through it. If you just want to hear the nursing stuff, that's fine. But I think I want this to be, nursing, of course, let you know how my journey is with that, but also just kind of my life too, I guess. But thank you guys for listening to me, hanging out with me again. I will try to do this again sometime next week. Hopefully I won't be too tired after my 3 days. And then the week after that, I'm just gonna let y'all know right now, I'm gonna be very, very tired. I'm gonna be very tired. I just have a lot of shifts that week. So we'll see how the video after this and the next one goes. It might be a little bit before I get to talk to you guys again, but hopefully not too long. But Thanks, guys. I hope you have a great day. God bless you guys. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.